Memphis is the home of the blues, rock and roll, and Earle Farrell.
From the Collierville Square to the mighty Mississippi, the Earle Farrell for Memphis show is all about good things that happen across the Bluff City and the people who make Memphis cool.
The Earle Farrell for Memphis show is made possible by our title sponsor, Southern Security Federal Credit Union, and by Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm Insurance.
By Dive Shop and Dive Ventures nationwide. Jim Harris Chevrolet with George Gully, Napa Cafe Memphis and Glenda Hastings, Phoenix Unequaled Home Entertainment, For Memphis Magazine, the Live at the Garden Concert Series, and the Orpheum Theater Group Memphis, and by Mitch Wright Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, family owned and operated for more than 40 years. Thank you to all the sponsors for making this possible.
And now, coming to you from Lansky Brothers, Clothier to the King, inside the world-famous Peabody Hotel with the heart of a cowboy and Memphis in his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Earle Farrell.
And thank you very much, and welcome to Lansky's. And I might add, I'm wearing another Lansky's jacket. Everybody says, those look great on you. And if they look that good on you, I'm going to get one. I said, do it. We've been selling a lot of jackets. Big day today. We've got Kate Staggs. She's the senior director of the Mid-South Heart Association, American Heart Association, and Don Graeter. She's CEO of Southern Security Federal Credit Union. Also, a featured inspiration. These are Women of Power. Is that the title?
Women of Impact.
Impacts. Mm-hmm. Same thing. They're powerful women with
yes.
impact is what they are. And I happen to know that Dawn is one. She's very, very much involved in the community and spearheads a lot of different efforts and fundraisers for Eliza's Light. Just finished a complete successful thing with that, the fundraising effort there, but also spearheading the Heart Association. They got the luncheon coming up here at on the 12th of September. Mm-hmm. I personally am very much appreciative of the American Heart Association Mid-South chapter because I was the featured poster boy a few years ago after I had an aneurysm on my Widowmaker. And Dr. Gubin with Stern Cardiovascular said, well, we're going to have to operate. But we've got an incredible medical system here in Memphis, some great docs, and the Mid-South Heart Association has been excelling for years and do such a great job. But it really is about awareness. I mean, as much as I know about the heart and the fact that women's heart symptoms differ from men's, but what I did know is that it's almost 50% of all women have some kind of a heart situation. I did not know that until I was reading this past week. I mean, that's amazing.
1 in 3 pass from it.
Wow.
Unfortunately. So
it's the number one killer of women. A lot of people think it's breast cancer, but the truth is it's really heart disease.
And you see how much of the athletes and everybody else is, everything is pink, which is for breast cancer.
Sure.
But the Heart Association, that's amazing to me. But it really is about education, and that's what we're doing here today. And at the luncheon on the 12th is educating people that this is something you need to be aware of. And it's not older women. It can be somebody in their 20s.
Mm-hmm. We have a really powerful story at the luncheon this year of a stroke survivor who actually had a car accident with her daughters in the car.
Because she had a heart attack?
And she had a stroke.
A stroke.
Because we are the Stroke Association as well. And so we try to raise awareness around both. So we have a powerful story. That would be your counterpart, Earle, just for the event this year, telling her story.
Well, because I didn't feel bad. I didn't think I felt bad.
Right.
And I passed the stress test. And I was telling them earlier that I had 2 nurses on either side of me because my pants kept falling down. And they said, don't hold on to your pants, hold on to the bar in front of you. And I went, but my pants are falling down. I said, we'll handle your pants. I went, okay. But apparently that happens a lot. So,
yeah.
But it's it's such a gradual thing with most people, men and women. And if you don't know what the signs are, they can escape you until it's too late. And a lot of people I'm friends with in the medical profession, they go, the one thing you don't want to have is a devastating stroke.
Right.
I mean, because in many cases you just don't come back from that.
Right.
And and the signs are usually always there once you start going back over to their survivors, and they sit there. And I know we've talked about it before.
Yes.
and especially women in positions like you.
Exactly.
Because
the level of stress
Yes.
that you're under. I think obviously women have lots of demands on their time and their lives. If they're mothers, if they have a career and do different things, the demands on their time a lot of times causes the additional stress, but also dictates your lifestyle, which sometimes is not healthy eating and not, you don't get the most rest that you should, and things that we all really need. But I think sometimes it's hard for females to do that because there's so many other demands on their time that it's hard for them to carve out and do those things. Now, sometimes it's hereditary. Heart disease is hereditary. My father, was a heart disease patient for years. He had 3 stents in the main artery of his heart going out the backside, very difficult to get to. But it was one of those things where he was just walking one morning and just got out of breath and felt uncomfortable, sat down on the curb, and we take him to the hospital. And sure enough, he had some blockage, and they had to install that then. But I think the thing is, listen to your body. And I think sometimes women push because they know they have to. I've got to get the kids to school. I've got to take care of this. I've got to get, my house cleaned. I've got to go to work every day. I've got to do all those things. So I think it's hard sometimes for you to pause for a minute and go, you know what? There's something going on with me, and I need to go check on it, and I need to figure out what's going on. And I think what I try to tell people is, you're busy, but you're not too busy to take time, because if something happens to you, the impact to your family, the impact to your organization, the impact of you not being there because you've had to go to the hospital to deal with this because you didn't take care of it in another way, it is even more, is even more time that you're away from them. So take time to do that. It's hard. It's easy to say that. It's hard to do. But I think the warning signs, Kate, if you want to go over those, especially for females, I think a lot of times they think it's things that it's not. And so that's always a good reminder of what those are.
Yeah, men usually have the Hollywood symptoms, the arm, and women do as well, chest tightening. But we also have nausea. We have back pain. And it's actually, they say it's a lot of flu-like symptoms, which is even tougher to have to admit you have to go to the hospital, because I know I don't really prioritize if I feel like I have the flu.
Well, and oftentimes flu-like symptoms are also allergy symptoms.
Exactly.
So you discount it, and I know women, y'all are this way, my wife is. Yeah. The last person to go to the doctor is Kathy. She tells everybody else, you need to go to the doctor, you need to go to the doctor. Yeah. And I also know that, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day, is women never stop thinking.
Right.
And men are able to do that. We're able to go into neutral and stay there. And but that's not something women are constantly. And Kathy says all the time, "I'm laying there, I cannot go to sleep at night."
Can't sleep at night. That's a common problem, and I've heard it more and more as I've gotten older. I have the same problem. I think I went, obviously, because of my dad's history, but I have allergy-induced and exercise-induced asthma. And so I run, and I started getting this tightness down the side of my neck and down my arm, going numb. And I thought, something's going on. Went and had it checked, and it was really it was a breathing problem. It wasn't my heart. But the symptoms are identical, really identical. And so after it happened to me a couple of times, I thought, I should go get this checked. Went, had the heart test. It wasn't that. Went back to the allergy doctor. They started testing me, and, I blew in the little tube, and my breathing capacity was less than 50% because it was all, allergy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I think, just a word of caution, back to what you said about how it can seem like it's a cold or an allergy or the flu, because it's true. It really can. Please go and check just to be sure, because you could be wrong. I could have been wrong. I'm thankful that that's what it was, and I can manage that, and I know that. And so I can power my way through that. But if I had not gone, and that's, what it had been, I could have been out running and just fallen out and been, had a heart attack and never known that I had anything wrong.
I know you got an Apple Watch on. Did you do where you could check your heart rate and all through the Apple?
Yes.
I mean, that would be something that I think would advise male and women to do, because you think, my heart seems like it's running a little fast, and I'm not really doing anything, but you can check it right then. But there are also apps where you can actually take your pulse and take your blood pressure.
Right. And I think it's good in Memphis especially. We've talked about this for years. The longer you live in Memphis, the more likely you are to develop, allergies. And I think that is very confusing to people, which is why I always encourage everybody to pay attention to that, because it could be, and it has been, I know people that it has been more than just an allergy situation. But I think because of where we live geographically, it's something that we all really need to be aware of.
Well, you made a good point, Earle, about hypertension and high blood pressure. The numbers are horrible for this area. It's one of our focuses as an association here. It's one of our top 3. And so we've been trying to alleviate, create more access to that. We've been, with help of some partners like the city of Memphis and First Horizon, we put some blood pressure checks in certain libraries. And so we're hoping to expand that. And so providing that access. But a lot of people just don't know. They don't know if they have it.
I know. When I was with Fox 13, they brought the defibrillator box in.
Yeah.
And I sat right next to Les Smith, who's about my age, and they hung it on the wall, like 2 feet away. And I went, "Hey, what is the deal here?" And they said, "Well, we put it where it may be needed most." So, but it really is that you want to be checking your building to make sure, is it equipped with a defibrillator? Is it equipped with a lot of other things? They have now wireless blood pressure cuffs that you go straight to your cardiologist, and they keep track. You don't have to keep a log anymore. There's a lot of things you can be very proactive over. But just, I think the hardest thing to get into people's heads is that you are susceptible, even if you're slender. I mean, that really doesn't have that much to do with it.
Not anymore, no. It doesn't. And I think the other thing, too, is, and I know American Heart does this because Kate's sent me information on it, but you can have all that equipment in the workplace, and if nobody knows how to use it,
or where
then
it is,
or where it is. So obviously, putting on my CEO hat, in our facility, we want to have all of those things available. We want to educate our staff on where they are. And we want to educate our staff that in a crisis situation, these are the steps that you take and this is what you do. So having a heart-happy workplace is something that the Heart Association helps with. So if you don't have that in your place of business and you have a lot of people there, staff there, reach out to them and they will help you set that up and educate your staff repeatedly, because in those situations a few seconds matters, and if somebody knows what they're doing and knows where things are and can get to them, get somebody to the hospital, it could save their life. And so I think that's important, and that's something, a service that they provide that is really, really nice.
Well, I do know that because they gave us the instructional course on what to do if somebody thinks they're having a heart attack. The good thing is a defibrillator will not fire if your heart is beating. Everybody worries about that. Well, do you think I need to do it? Hit him. If it does, if his heart's not beating, it won't fire, and we'll just still get him to the hospital. But it is something. The better educated we are about it, the safer it's going to be for everybody, and that includes young people, because they all think nothing's going to go wrong with me. And I mean, you guys got the numbers. How many people in their 20s have strokes or heart attacks?
Oh, I mean, I couldn't pull the number exact off the top of my head, but it's actually increased over the last 5 years specifically. Really, during COVID, we saw an increase of strokes in 30-year-olds.
Do you think it was anxiety that was causing those, or the fact that people weren't getting out and getting exercise?
It was probably both, and then people who had COVID, it was causing weakness to the heart.
Yeah.
And so that was also an issue. We had to reallocate millions of dollars in 2020 that had already been granted towards active research projects to say, how is COVID about to affect us in the next 2 decades? They had to we just scramble and try and reallocate. We also put a lot of money that, like if you noticed in 2020, that was the turnover when we started talking about CPR or we went from talking about CPR to talking about hands-only CPR. Because really, when COVID happened, you really emphasized the fact, I don't want to put my mouth on somebody I don't know.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of research behind, okay, how much does the breathing impact truly at the end of the day? And the number was very nominal. And so now all we talk about
Chest.
is hands-only
CPR.
CPR.
Compression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And kids as young as 8 can learn it.
Yeah.
And so that's, talk about that bystander response, even if you're not near an AED or if you're in a public space, you don't know where one is. Like if some people survive because someone around them knows CPR and is able to do that. And so, I taught at the Junior Achievement event a couple months ago, taught about 5,000 8th grader CPR and took about 10 seconds for them to learn it.
Yeah, I remember I got to a wreck before anybody else did years ago in the news, and this guy's neck was cut. And so I knew you had to put pressure on it. Right. But I'm a big guy, and I'm sitting there, and he's going, "You're choking me."
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're applying way too much pressure.
Way too much pressure. It really is instructions, a big part of it, educating yourself and your children, because the children, they need to know just if there's something happened to one of their parents to call 911, if nothing else.
We have a really robust youth market program, Kids Heart Challenge. Like back in my day, it was Jump Rope for Heart. I know a lot of older people will remember that. They don't do that one anymore, but they do a lot of work in the schools. Germantown specifically is one of the top fundraising schools in the whole country here in Memphis. And so, but the education they spread, I heard the other day, there was because as young as 8, you can save a life with CPR typically, depending on the child's size. But I think there was like a kindergartner or a first grader in Louisiana a couple weeks ago that recognized the signs of a stroke in either the parent or grandparent and saved that person's life. And so we hear those stories all the time, but they learn that in school from AHA resources.
Which is the good thing about public schools and private schools. They're all very aware of that now. But that came through the educational process for the American Heart Association. Let's talk about the luncheon on the 12th. It's going to be at the Hilton, 10:30 to 11:30. That's a short lunch. Is that the?
Well, that's the Health Expo.
Oh, okay.
And so that's the pre-event.
I don't think I could eat
really
that
close
fast.
to noon. Yeah, so 10:30 to noon, and then the luncheon will go from noon to 1:30.
And what kind of things will be discussed at the
So
expo?
really focus on women, and at the expo specifically, we try to make that a mix of fun blended with education. So we have, to Dawn's point about stress, we talk about self-care. We don't put enough time in our days, so we have a fun area where we'll have chair massages and menu tastings that people will do. Dillard's will have a perfume bar, and there'll be some fun things. And our theme is Disco Divas, so it'll be sparkly and a lot of fun. And then in the more the vendor side, where like our sponsors will activate, we'll have blood pressure checks, we'll have CPR demos, we'll have stroke simulations, and all the other things. And so you'll kind of get a mix of education and health side as well as the fun side. Take care of yourself.
And do they buy tickets there, or do you need to get them in advance?
So you'll need to get them in advance. We are very close to selling out, which is very exciting. So,
Well, if Don has anything to do it, it'll be a sellout.
Yeah,
It's a sellout.
yeah, exactly. And
We're not going to do it unless it's a sellout.
right. And we do get to honor the Women of Impact there, which is exciting. So Dawn and her class, which I want to brag on them a little bit, which of course their big piece was February to April. Where they saw way too much of me. But their group of 10 raised over $200,000 in 9 weeks.
Atta girl.
So, yeah.
There you go.
And
Well, that's
so-
because she doesn't take no for an answer.
That's right. Oh, Dawn was easy. Dawn was done before it started. She was like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so...
Didn't make a couple of calls. I know some people.
Yeah, so there's a group of 10 ladies we're going to get to honor
Well,
at that event, which is fun. So it's a mix of education, awareness, and fun as well. We have the fashion show, which is always a big hit.
Yeah, I got to be in the fashion show, and
Yes. You want to be in it this year, Earl? We got room.
one-time male model.
Yeah.
One time.
Okay. Yeah, men come to this. That's what people aren't
right.
sure about.
There
But
are
men
a lot
come.
of men at it, and I really think you ought to have more education for men.
Mm-hmm.
Have it at a golf course before a tournament, and say, before you get started today, we're going to give you a couple of things to be looking out for your wife, because she's always
that
looking out
idea.
for you. let's talk about symptoms and just surprise them. Yeah, I mean, we're just rotten, and but sometimes if you get their attention and they realize that it's not the same for women as it is for men,
Right.
and then hit them with this. Think about what your life would be without your wife.
That's right.
Because everybody in my family knows we're screwed if anything ever happens to Kathy. Nobody knows where anything is. We don't know
what to do.
Did you order this? Is this coming?
Right.
Did you pay that? So
Yep.
I think that would be a great. I'll be glad to help you any way I can on that.
Yeah,
Because I know how men are,
Yeah.
and because I are one, and probably very typical, and which is why they had me be the poster boy for that, because I was your typical guy,
That's
know.
right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Out
That's
there
perfect.
drinking too much, eating too much, and
That's right.
But I have lost 25 pounds since I had my bypass surgery, and I've kept it off. Every time I see Dr. Gubin, he goes, "You look great." I said, "You say that so incredulously.
Yeah.
How did that happen?"
Like, yeah.
But you change your life. It does
Yeah.
change your life. If you don't,
It does.
Oh yeah, and I've talked with a lot of survivors who have made those life changes, and it's just incredible their difference. And people. I talked to a lady the other day. She came off. She reversed her type 2 diabetes through life. I mean, that's huge.
Just losing weight a lot of times is all you really need. And I know that
Changing your diet. I think people think. I mean, exercise is important, but I think some people don't realize that if you lean towards being diabetic, giving up the carbs and the sweet stuff and all of that, just minor changes really can make a huge difference.
Well, I thought you were going to refer to that a minute ago when you were saying about how as we get older that
Yes.
all these problems get worse. I thought you were going to say because we're living here in the South and we're all eating catfish and we're all eating chicken and dumplings.
Not all of us.
but you start realizing that this stuff
I think
is.
you realize, and I always tell people all the time. I think we have a lot of things added to our food that we didn't 20 years ago. So I think being more conscious of what you eat, how much you eat, and making sure that if you have a tendency to be a diabetic, knowing your family history is super important. I'll say that again. We have diabetes and heart disease. So being very aware of that and making sure that you do the proper steps in your diet and exercising is so critical, and it does make a difference. It makes a difference in your lifestyle, and it makes a difference just in your stamina too. I mean, you have more energy, you feel better, and just tweaking a few things. I tell people it's not as hard as you think.
We started doing the show from here in Lansky's, and we came in. All this table we're at is actually an old Cadillac. It's made, in fact, I got the emblem over here on this side of the trunk. But it was a Cadillac, but it's metal. And he said, but you got to take all the clothes and the dummies that are here when you come in and put them back. And so the first few shows we did, you have to haul all the gear in, take that stuff down, set up our stuff, take our stuff down, put that stuff back. And I thought, I don't know if I can do this. It's actually turned out to be a workout.
It's been good exercise.
It has.
That's right.
And I've noticed my arms are more toned.
That's
and,
right.
I'm not. I don't have to take a nap out there in the lobby before we load up the car.
Good.
And so, inadvertently, sometimes you end up doing something that actually helps you.
Exactly.
And then the more you see that affecting you, that's when it inspires you to do more things. So.
That's right. One of my very first bosses, we were in a 2-story building and we had stairs and an elevator. And she was very health conscious. And she would always say, take the stairs, take the stairs. And people would go to get on the elevator and she'd say, take the stairs. And so now I remind everybody when we go somewhere, I'm like, take the stairs.
Yep. Park further away.
It's just a little thing.
Yeah.
But if you do enough little things, they turn into big things. And, those are just little normal things you can do that don't, that's just your normal day. You don't have to go out of your way to do those kind of things. So where there's opportunity, take advantage of those things, and it'll help.
And Kate, your Facebook page or website for more tips on things you can do?
Yes. So we have a statewide Facebook and Instagram pages. So it's American Heart Association -Tennessee. And then our heart.org page is wonderful. It's a monstrosity, wealth of information. My favorite, and apparently everyone in the world's favorite, is the recipe page. So I talk about, I was going to say, I talked about that one a lot. I know I shared it a lot with Women of Impact, but especially if you have like dietary restrictions, if you need low sodium, if you are pre-diabetic or diabetic, or you need, like, it'll pull that stuff for you. And so, but they've said out of everyone in the world, that is the most visited page on our website.
I'm just hearing recently about pink salt. Are you hearing about pink salt?
Yeah.
They're saying that it's actually good for you, but it's not refined salt like we get.
Flaky salt.
Yeah, it is flaky, and it's not many, because there's a chemical they put in the salt to keep it from coagulating. Like they used to put a soda cracker and sugar,
Right.
but that chemical is not good for us. And the pink sugar, which comes from the Baltic Sea or someplace, to explore that, because research does change all the time. And what used to be, don't ever do that, and then do that, and then don't do that again. So, as we learn more, you have to keep up with everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But I like salt, so I'm getting pink salt.
Yes.
Yeah, salt's the hard one. I actually was at a lunch and learn we did the other day, and there was a dietitian talking, and it was very interesting, and I learned a lot. I had a lot of questions, and she was saying sodium's probably the worst thing that we consume, like at the levels that we consume.
Right.
Well,
Well, because it's in everything already.
Yes.
And then we put more on top of it. And you're like, wait a minute.
And with people,
Exactly.
they've done it their whole life.
It's
They
like
watch
they're
their
that.
parents do it, so they
Right.
sit down to eat bacon and eggs in the morning, and they automatically pick up the salt shaker.
Salt,
and they're talking
the
to you,
eggs,
and then they
right.
take the pepper, and then they take a bite, and they go, no more salt.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
And
It's too
once you get
much.
used to not eating it, it's amazing how it's like sugar.
fun.
Once you stop eating sugar and
Yeah.
you taste something, you go,
Yeah.
oh, God, that's sweet.
Because I don't put salt on anything.
Yeah.
I mean, because it just
I don't
doesn't need
either.
it. It just doesn't need it.
Yeah.
And if you need something to spice it up, get hot sauce and put
Exactly.
on there. Yeah.
Oh, that's what my dad taught me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it gives it flavor, but then some has more salt content than others. But
And butter.
Yep.
We've always had this adverse, butter, but natural unsalted butter you can use as a dressing, like on any kind of meat or whatever, and it actually is not bad.
I know
if you
Paula
kinda-
Dean highly recommends butter.
Yeah.
And she's
Stay
lost a
away-
lot of weight too,
stay-
so
yeah,
she must have scaled back on
that,
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her on the CBS Morning News the other day from her home in Savannah.
Yeah.
But she was cooking French toast with ice cream. They melt
Oh,
ice cream and then
okay.
dip
Yeah.
the French toast
Yeah.
in that. And
You
that
can
was not a
make-
low-cal
yeah,
diet.
and you can make, but you can make I mean, the whole carnivore, recipes. You can make pancakes, and you can make ice cream, and it's interesting, and it really does impact the diabetic piece for sure.
Yeah, because the
And
carnivore
so-
diet, Ed, your friend,
Yes,
is he
yeah.
still doing that?
Yeah, and he was on 3 medications for diabetes, and he's now off of all 3 of them.
Oh my
so
gosh.
yeah, so that was
That's
huge.
amazing.
Yeah,
And
and somebody just said, "Hey, try it," and it worked. Because his mother was diabetic and actually was doing glucose, and taking insulin shots. And so, didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, if I don't have to
Well,
go
it affects
there.
so many other things you don't think about. I mean, eyesight.
Lost a ton of weight.
People have to have their fingers and toes and feet
yes,
and legs amputated.
amputated.
Yeah.
Yes. the
There's a
whole
dental
circulation.
connection to heart disease as well.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
About your teeth health. I
Right.
never knew that
It's a
until
lot.
TV.
Well, I worked with a guy on radio that had some bad teeth problems, and he had a heart attack leaving the station one day, had a wreck, and was killed. And they said they think that it was connected to his decaying teeth.
Right.
I think I know who you're talking about too. Yeah.
So
It's,
it all works together,
It does.
and that's why it's always good to have strong women to tell you to start
right.
taking care of
That's
yourself.
right. Take care of yourself. That's right.
Kate Staggs, Senior Director for the Mid-South Heart Association, thank you for coming in. Dawn,
Yes.
thank you for all you do.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
have a
Thank you.
successful conference at the Hilton on the 12th.
Thank you, Earle.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Dawn Graeter, President and CEO of Southern Security Federal Credit Union. We're the proud title sponsor of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show. Coming to you live from Lansky's in the world-famous Peabody Hotel and celebrating all of the great things about our great city, Memphis, Tennessee.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm so proud to be part of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show, streaming live from Lansky's from the Peabody. We will be showcasing not only Napa Cafe, but some great restaurants around town. We look forward to seeing you.
Hello, Memphis Mid-South. And first, I'd like to thank you for visiting with Earle Farrell Memphis today, and we want to support him just like you do. I'm George Gully, one of the sales managers at Jim Carrey Chevrolet. We've been in business here in Memphis for over 75 years. I've been associated with the company for almost 25, and I'll help you find the right car, truck, or SUV here at not only our Chevy store, but also Buick, GMC, Nissan, Subaru. We can help you find that right car. Keep watching, Earl, and come see me. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm, and I'm so excited to be one of the sponsors for the Earle Farrell from Memphis show, broadcasting live from Lansky's at the Peabody. And I'll tell you all about what we've got going on at our office. Gift cards for quotes. No purchase necessary. I'm better looking than a lizard.
Hi, this is Randy Wright from the Dive Shop and Dive Ventures in Memphis. We've been in Memphis over 64 years teaching people to dive, snorkel, and swim. We'd love to have you come join us and have some fun. We're also a part of the Dive Ventures group with 18 locations across the country, stretched from Phoenix to Vienna, Virginia. Please give us a call. We'll be able to take care of you at 999 South Yates in Memphis, or call us at 901-763-DIVE.
Hi, I'm Brett Batterson, President and CEO of the Orpheum Theater Group in downtown Memphis. We are so pleased with our partnership with the Earle Farrell Show and very happy that he is broadcasting live from Lansky's at the historic Peabody Hotel. We're all here to make Memphis better.
Hi, my name is Jameson Todd, and I'm the director of Live at the Garden and the Radiance Amphitheater. And we're so excited for our 25th year of Live at the Garden here at the Memphis Botanic Garden. We've got a great lineup for you this season, so come on out.
Hi, I'm Olivia Wald, Director of Marketing and Communications for Memphis Botanic Garden and Live at the Garden. We've had Earle Farrell right along the way for the past 25 years, and we can't wait to talk more about the season this summer on the Earle Farrell for Memphis show.
So come out to Live at the Garden. Our first show is on June 21st.
Hi, I'm Mitch Wright. And I'm his son, Mickey. And we're the owners of Mitch Wright Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And proud sponsors of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show.
We're thankful to be part of the Memphis community. We've been in business for 42 years, taking care of people and loving the people of the Mid-South.
Hey, my name is Jake. I'm with Phoenix Unequaled Home Entertainment. I just wanted to introduce myself and kind of what I do here at Phoenix. I'm a sales engineer. A lot of the times we talk about home theaters, but there's so much more that we offer. We offer a lot of home security solutions, as well as water detection and everything. So if you guys ever need anything, give us a call. We'll get you guys fixed up.
Okay, we're back. And welcome back. Joining me now is Dr. Ashish Joshi, and he is the Dean of the University of Memphis School of Public Health. And welcome to the show, Dean.
Thank you so much, Earle, for having me.
Steve Schuler, who works for you, has been a very long time friend of mine. He called me and said that he had gone to work for you. He said, you really need to get the Dean on. He said, he has come in and totally turned that whole program around. And I don't think a lot of people even knew there was a school of public health. I was looking at some of the figures in this brochure. I mean, you took the donation level from 2 million 2 years ago to like 27 million. Is that correct? That is phenomenal. I've worked for nonprofits. I've worked in helping raise money for different organizations. That's phenomenal. I mean, and you've also, in the meantime, gained international reputation for the University of Memphis through your program. So thank you very much for all that you're doing at the University of Memphis.
Thank you for having me, Earle. It's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here.
How did you get to Memphis? I mean, obviously they found you and said you need to come here, but why did you decide to come to the University of Memphis?
Thank you so much, Earle, for this opportunity to be here. If I may start with, I'm a physician by practice.
So you're an MD?
I'm an MD, and I lost my father when I was in medical school.
Wow.
And the first thing came to my mind was, I'm not going to let anybody die. So, of course, as a clinician, you take one patient at a time, and my focus was to really emphasize on a larger population, how to help prevent and promote good health and well-being among all. And I think that was motivation. So I always call public health not as a job, it's kind of a calling, it's a mission, it's a commitment. And prior to coming to Memphis, I was in New York. I was for 8 years in New York City. And I always say that when I'm asked this question, what made you move from New York to Memphis? I always say, I didn't choose Memphis. I think practicing spirituality for the last 27 years, after I lost my father, I feel that God gave me an opportunity to make my part. And so I viewed one reason of this as a calling. And the second thing was, I felt that School of Public Health can be one of the most impactful schools of public health in the nation, and that it can be a social economic health engine for the city of Memphis. So I think that's how I would describe my journey from coming from New York to Memphis so far.
Which I would have to agree that I think that you're supposed to be, you are where you're supposed to be.
Yep.
And goodness knows, Memphis, we were just talking with the Heart Association and the fact that, you know, we don't eat the healthiest here. We have a high crime rate, which in many ways ties in with the poverty level because people are not going to starve. They're going to get food, and they're going to get the food that's the cheapest and most available to them. And unfortunately, in many cases, that's certainly not the best food for us. You would think that it would be vegetables, everything else would be the cheapest form of food for us, and yet that is the price of things that goes up, up, and up. But just like the Heart Association, what you're doing with the School of Public Health is educating people and getting to them as early as possible.
You know, I think what you just mentioned, like crime, violence, eating unhealthy, I think School of Public Health is taking a very unique approach. What we are saying is, yes, we understand that these are the challenges, but we need to focus on what are the root causes of that. Unless we just look at the outcomes, what we are really standing out ourselves is how do we invest in the youth early by making them more informed, making them more guided with the right tools and the resources and the education, and at the same time also public health offered being as a career opportunity for them. So I think one of the most distinct and different perspective on our School of Public Health that I feel that we can really be proud of, and I get very passionate when I speak about that, is we are the first School of Public Health in the country and around the world that has brought public health dual enrollment into the high schools.
Wow.
That means we have an opportunity now to engage the youth at the right time to keep them more informed about why you have to eat healthy, and not just what to eat healthy, but why. The why is really important. The second is, along with the food you eat, why sleep is so important. So we are focusing on aspects of health that are directly or indirectly impacting the outcomes in that way.
I think it's interesting you're talking about the career opportunities.
Yep.
There's certainly, I mean, I was looking at the number of the breakdown on male versus female. It's mostly women that are coming through the school now, but when men start finding out that that's a career path, I just don't think people connect the two at this point. But that's part of what you're doing is educating people to that and going down to the high school level, because that's when they start making the decisions about what they're going to be when they grow up.
I totally agree. And I think unless people know what public health is, and it's not about just, yes, you can help the people, but at the same time, you can actually create job opportunities, career opportunities that can create pathways for you. And I'd like to share one more thing, which is very exciting, is that we are now actually the first city, first state also in the world that is establishing public health clubs at the high school level.
Wow. Yeah, because you had the Glee Club, you had the chess
club, you have a robotics club, you have a maths club.
Yes.
And how is it possible that we don't have a public health club?
Once again, it's education, and it's having somebody that comes along and thinks out of the box and lets them know there's another option. It's like with so many kids, especially inner city kids, they think that athletics are their ticket to a great life. More and more, we're hearing that, going to HVAC school, become a mechanic. A mechanic is a technician job now. And then public health is something else that people just haven't in the past thought of. And the way you get it, and I've always said this about anything when you're inventive, and I also know you're very much in favor of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Those are the people who do think out of the box. You employ those tactics with your school, and you're going to attract them for different reasons.
Yeah. And I would say, you so rightly put together, graduating from public health is not just going to the health department. It's more than that. So our goal is to really create a workforce that's kind of a change maker. That's not only just looking for a job, but also creating jobs. We are not looking to just prepare those workforce for the health department, but we are also looking for them to work in the hospitals, the insurance, the private industry. There are 4 pillars that we are focusing on. One, how to cope in the environment, how to adapt, how to be resilient, and how to be empathetic. You can be in a medical school, you can be in a nursing profession, but public health really lays out the foundation for you. So if you love public health, there are so many career opportunities along the way.
And I think immediately what comes to most people's mind is the health department, doing something in the medical field. When I'm thinking, because I have an entrepreneur type mind, and obviously what I do, I put this whole idea together, and everybody's going, what? But it is thinking about public health. Where does it start? It starts as little kids.
Yep.
And what is the first thing they start doing after stop nursing with their mom is eating food.
Yes.
And coming up and training them to eat right from the very beginning. We have friends now, their kids have never had a fast food anything. And if you were to give it to them, they go, no, I don't eat that. But and it's hard to get kids to eat vegetables, but once they start, and then you associate it with other things, pretty soon that's what they eat. That's what they like. And so it's then somebody that's part of that crowd growing up, they said, I'm going to think of how to make food more attractive to these kids and make it easier for them to prepare instead of going and get something quick.
And I think you so rightly put, it's sometimes difficult to change behavior, but when the students become a part of your own solutions, they become more responsible, they become more actually responsive to the needs. So if instead of me going and saying, here's what you need to do, rather than saying, what can we do to make it better together?
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that framing of the right question can make a very big difference around that lens.
Yeah, I've been here, moved here in 1978, and so I've been here a long time. And being a reporter, I've always been out doing stories, and I'll have tourists come up to me and say, hey, where's this or where's that? And over the years, I've had so many people, and I would ask them, what is the most impressive thing to you about coming to the United States for the first time? They said, A, the food in the grocery stores. I've never seen the amount of food. And then at the same time, the size of the people. That you go to their countries and everybody is pretty much the same size. And because if you go to France, most everybody walks. Same thing in Italy. Same thing in most of Europe. I lived in Mexico for 2 years, and everybody walks. And you come to the United States, if you see somebody walking, they're in distress. Their car broke down. You just don't see large groups of people walking up down the sidewalks, even in downtown Memphis. It is a lifestyle thing. And I do see now people riding their bikes in huge groups. I'm seeing people jogging, walking. And the green trails have really, the green lines have taken off here in Memphis. And we've got one of the longest continuous green lines in the country now. And I remember when they went to Colorado to study the good ones there. Now we beat them. So it is turning around. I think that's why it's so timely that you're doing what you're doing here in Memphis now.
Yeah, and I would say, just to leverage on what you just said is the third component, what we are saying is out-of-box thinking, innovation, creativity. How to really find solutions to the problems from the lens that they see. It's a very important component because youth is very engaging.
Yeah.
We just need to prepare them in the right way, the tools, resources, and give them the opportunities. And trust me, they'll find the solutions. So I think what we really want to be one of the schools that starts to reimagine public health in a way that could be more solution-centric. And I use the word that our School of Public Health is glocal.
Glocal.
I love the word globalization.
Global and local.
It is local and global, and it is vice versa.
I like it.
So we don't want to be just a problem identification school. We want to be a solution-centric school. So we prepare a workforce that thinks out of box, be creative, and find solutions to the problem rather than just identifying problems.
Well, and sharing why other people are successful at it, because as I said about most of Europe and France and Asia, we go to these places and they don't have the health problems we do in the United States or the costs that go along with it. And it's starting to take a look at their societies and say, why is that working and it's not working here? Because good ideas can come from any place.
Any place,
And it's very evident if it's working. You know it's working. And it's like, let's bring that here and start making it happen here. I know that a number of the large medical implant companies out here, Smith & Nephew, Medtronic, they've all gone to the schools and started getting people to start thinking about a career in their professions early in high school. In fact, they have feeder systems now. They said, you go this program, they have certain courses they take that lines it up. Is that part of what you're doing as well?
Yeah, we are the first School of Public Health at the University of Memphis that has a complete pipeline created from all the way from high school to undergraduate to graduate and to the doctoral level.
Wow.
So our goal is basically to create more opportunities, more pathways, more ways where they can actually have a choice to take an undergraduate, finish it, go back to work, still come back in. So it's a very unique pathway that has been established. And I'm very proud to say that it's coming here from right in Memphis. So I think what it speaks of is that if we have the intent, the commitment, the passion, the mission, I think we can really accomplish the things what we really want to do.
Well, by increasing your funding as much as you have, that means that your message is getting through to corporate, because this is where that money comes from, mostly is corporate donors, correct?
So our largely funding is coming from our research dollars, the significant grants, and I'm very proud to share that we have multiple research centers and research labs that have been established, where students have now the opportunity not to just come to the school and the university to get a classroom experience, but a real experiential learning experience, which means they can actually apply the skills and the knowledge what they've acquired in the classrooms into practice. And I call this actually more like public health in action. So the goal is basically to prepare them to really demonstrate that the knowledge that they have acquired, they can actually implement it and demonstrate that the change is happening.
I love it. In fact, I think what you should do, Doctor, is do a white paper on what Memphis needs to do to improve Memphis. That's why we came downtown and do our show here. We all want Memphis to be a better place.
Yep.
And until we all start moving in that direction and taking a hard look at Memphis, what is working, what's not working, I mean, because it all works together.
Yep.
But I promise you, what I've learned over the years is everybody wants a safe place to live. They want to be able to go to work every day and be productive. They want to provide for their children and make them better than they were and their opportunities better than that. So what are we disagreement with? There is no disagreement.
I'm totally with you. And I think maybe I have my own, I would say, drive of saying that public health is one of the ways that actually brings people together. I think what you just described is a collective impact of everyone. And I think this, by going to the schools, one another thing what I've observed over the last 2 years, since I've been going here now, is to create and build those role models within the high schools and the hope. What really struck me was it was not obesity, it was not like eating just that came as a priority. What came out was hopelessness.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think one of the objectives of our efforts and initiatives is how do you convert that from hopelessness to make them hopeful and then aspirational, that yes, you have a great idea, you can be engaged, and then at the same time you also have a career path now. So I think it's kind of a multifaceted approach to looking at an ecosystem that provides that opportunities to our youth for a much better advancement in their career and in their own professional journeys.
I do think that's why we see so many shootings. As Steve Schuler, who works for you, was a spokesperson for the sheriff's office, and so you got to see all this much more up close than when I was a reporter. And the hope is a key factor, because there's so many young people that think the only way you're going to get nice clothes and shoes and a car is you got to steal it, because they have no opportunity to earn the kind of money that they want to make. Because I think it boils down to they're not good examples for them to look up to. They look up to athletes. They look up to even these people that are committing crimes and see them driving around the nice cars. And if you're honest and you work hard and you don't have that kind of thing, those things, you think, well, that's not the way to go. But it's having other kids come back to the neighborhood and say, let me tell you what I did. And now this is what I'm doing, and you can too. That's the 3 words, I think, is you can too. And once you convince them of that, that's half the battle.
I totally agree. You know, we did one of the hackathons, and we started this about 3 years ago when I first came here. And the hackathon is a concept where you can have the boldest, kind of a craziest idea on how to solve a public health issue that impacts you or the community and the family. I'm so delighted to share with you that this year, when we concluded our 3rd hackathon, we had about 90 participants, 16 teams from 4 continents.
Wow. Wow.
Right here happening in Memphis.
Yeah.
And as I say to you, what really shows is once we have a path and the opportunity laid out, I think we have underestimated the imagination of student. And yes, what requires is patience, persistence, perseverance, and the continuity of that you can, as you mentioned, you can do it, they can do it, I can do it, we can together do it. And I think the message of together we can, I think, is a very strong resonance of that. And I feel that our students at the school are just looking for those right opportunities, and as dean or as educators, I view that that's a kind of obligation that we need to serve that way.
You know, Church Health, Dr. Scott Morris, done such an incredible job with what he brought to Memphis. I really see you guys kind of doing the same thing. I mean, he was very inventive, and people come from all over the world to study what they're doing at Church Health, and that is public health. And I think you guys aren't working together. You should be, because you're on the same path.
No, I think we have, yes, Dr. Morris, I know him pretty well, you know, great work. I had a chance to look at what they have accomplished. It's been phenomenal. And at the same time, we are creating opportunities for our students, not just at the health department, but also at the school systems, at the juvenile court systems, at the sheriff's office. Basically, public health is all. And I'm also delighted to share that we have now expanded our public health clubs not just locally. We are one of the schools of public health in 2024 which received the highest award in the nation by the Association of Schools and Programs of Public Health. That was the Dr. Harrison C. Spencer Award within 2 years of when I came here. And that's an award that recognizes some of the outstanding community engagement work that the school is doing at the University of Memphis. That's one. The second is we work closely with the Shelby County Health Department, and also we are now expanding and discussing what we can do at the Memphis City Council. So I think the way I look at it is like, you know, globalization is the way to go. When a student in one of the schools sees that he or she can talk to somebody in Malta or in Portugal and feel that the problem that he or she is experiencing is a very similar problem to somebody else is facing around the world, and that he or she has a solution to that, can you imagine what that would do to their confidence and to be the role model for that?
Absolutely. And there's a thing here that's called, well, it's a Memphis thing. You wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
When they start talking to people in other countries that speak totally different languages, and they start discussing the common problems, they find out the Memphis thing is a world thing.
Yes.
We just experience it a little differently, but it's all in the same realm. And I think you're right. Once they talk to somebody from a different part of the world, they go, "You think that too?" Then you go. Then you connect.
You know, you'll be surprised. We had a group of faculty from Malta. They came back, they said, we are trying to see how Memphis model can be adapted in Malta. And that speaks volume to the kind of reimagination we are trying to do in public health. I think investing in youth early in public health, creating career opportunities in public health, has a social, economic, as well as a health aspect altogether. And I think that's all what is needed for sustained communities and sustainable cities.
What do they do to learn more about your school and how to get involved with it in high school? Or parents are listening to this right now saying, I want to get my kid somehow involved in this.
You'll be surprised if I say my door is a very open door policy. Trust me. And you can hold me accountable for that. It's a very open door policy. They can email. We love to have them come to the school, see. And as a matter of fact, we want to have partnership with them. We want to learn from what more we should do within the school to create more opportunities for them. I think so. I think it's a collective impact. It's a kind of a co-creation and co-designing of the curriculum, of the solutions and the approaches that we can take. The best way is to go to the School of Public Health website, at the University of Memphis. And as I mentioned to you, I have a very open door policy. My email is sphdean@memphis.edu, But I believe that organizing a visit, and we would love to have you come and visit our school, actually, to be honest.
I would love to come and see it. And get some video. We'll bring back and show people what you are doing there. Dr. Ashish Joshi, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very impressed with what you're doing, and we're all in this together, and the way we win this is to do it together, and you're well out there in front, so thank you very much.
No, it's been my honor and my privilege, and I really appreciate you for giving me this opportunity to share my passion here.
Absolutely. We'll update people in the near future with what's going on there, because I think more good things are going to come out with you there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.